So if you've ever had an electric hot tub, you know how ridiculously expensive it is, and you probably are like, I'm never owning a hot tub again. So I was definitely in that situation years ago, spent hundreds of dollars on electric. So now I'm going to be going with a wood-fired hot tub, and I'm going to show you exactly how I go about making the radiator system for this cedar hot tub. So let's get to it. Okay, so I'm going to be using my Solo fireplace to heat this. Let me get so first thing you want to do is just try to measure the inside diameter. Looks like we got about 23 inches. So essentially we're just going to be making a radiator system that's going to fit inside of this fireplace so that you can heat up the tub. Okay, so essentially all we're going to be doing is using some 3/4 inch copper, some elbows, basically making a radiator system. So using our 3/4 inch elbows, 3/4 inch copper. Now, so we want to measure this so that we have a diagonal fashion of 23.5 inches. So we're going to go 12 3/4 on our copper here. I'll mark that so we can make it easy. So we're going to cut a bunch of pieces that are about 12 3/4. Now this is just for that specific sized Solo stove. So if you have a bigger stove, you know, the bigger the radiator system, the better. So we're going to cut a whole bunch of these and basically solder them all together. Okay. So the more you go, you know, the better it is. The more water volume you're going to have, the faster it'll heat up. But this is enough expense for me. This is about what 80. This is about $100 worth of copper right here. So that's good enough for me. But if you did another 4 of these, put another two lengths of this, you'd be in good shape. I think you'd be better off. It all depends on what size hot tub you have. But now we're just going to go ahead and solder everything, and then we got to get the connections on the top to bring it over to the hot tub. So I'm going to try to keep this separated a little bit because I want to have, you know, the fire going in between all of this. Yeah, it should probably be all right. Something like that. And then we'll go ahead and solder all of this. Okay, so we're just gonna test this before we put the other pieces on there, but that's basically it. Now we'll get the wooden side of there, heat it up. Okay, so now we can just go ahead and place this apparatus in our Solo stove. Get our top cover back on. Okay, and then I put some washer supplies on here. All right, so I'll show you, I have a pump over here that I installed. So as you can see here, this is a circulating pump. So this will be on the entire time while I'm heating everything up. And I'd say that's pretty important. Make sure that you're keeping this on at all times, or all that soldering you just did will end up just melting and you'll end up with leaks. I learned that the hard way. So anytime you have the fire on, make sure that you keep that pump going. We'll go ahead and plug our pump in. Okay, so everything's leak free on this. So now this is easily removable when we want to use the solo stove without it, but it's going to have a dual function. Basically going to be using the solo with it, but as you can see, I have my setup here with my washer connectors and a shutoff valve there. And then I have my pump, and we're ready to heat this up. Now this is going to take quite a bit of time, probably about 4 hours before I can even heat this up. All right, about 5 hours later. It's all warm. Nice and hot, isn't there, guys?
It's warm. Yeah,
that's awesome. Works pretty well. You can't even see it. All those pipes are in those coals. So it definitely works out pretty well.